What's up, y'all? This is Briahna Willis. I don't know the name of this podcast yet, but just vibe with me, okay? Just vibe with me. We cooling. Okay, so today I just kind of just wanted to flow. Like I just wanted to flow and kind of see what it's giving. You know what I'm saying? But I really want to talk about life and kind of my book with a mixture of it too. You know what I'm saying? But just flow with me. You got it. So today was very interesting, right? I got a chance to really sit and reflect on a lot of stuff, and I was like, dang, like, I just realized that we all go through a season of like, we have a success, whatever that looks like, and as time progresses in that success, there's a point in which we grow past that success. And we have a choice on like, okay, am I gonna grow past this success and like progress from here? Or am I gonna kind of stay or remain here? And I feel like for the last, I say month, 2 months after, no, I'll take that back. Since I wrote the book and published it and everything, I think I've just kind of been going in a time lapse of like that previous success that I've had. And I think it's because so many times like we can get to a point of like, man, like I had success here, but what happens when you're shown new? What happens when that thing that you wrote about, that success that you had, was just a stepping stone and only had a little bit of foundational truth in it, right? And I think now I'm just kind of realizing is like, dang, like some of the things that I talked about in the book, it's like I don't really like, yeah, like some of it is cool, but like for the most part, I don't really have that passion for that anymore because like I'm seeing deeper and I'm seeing how certain things like aren't the same like as I once thought it was. And so now I'm conflicted on, okay, do I continue to stay and remain in this success of this old, or do I walk into the new with the little sprinkles of that, the truths or the things that I've seen from the old. And I think it's really hard to get to a point, I know for me, of actually releasing certain things because certain beliefs, like I've been reading this book, um, called the Fifth Agreement. I read the Fourth Agreement. So the Fifth Agreement, it talks about like the beliefs that we've had growing up. And growing up, I didn't have a choice on what I was told to believe. I didn't have a choice on um believing or not believing in God. Like I didn't have a choice on none of that. Instead, our parental or guardian like has beliefs that they've been indoctrinated with them when they were born, and they passed it on to us, or they didn't, depending on where they were or where they stood. And I think now it's difficult. It's a difficult season, just keeping it a buck, because there's certain things that I'm questioning. Like I always question God. And those are things that right there is a statement that I was told even more so not to even question God. So I think now I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna question you. Like I'm gonna just ask questions and everything because I want to know the truth about everything that you showed me and that you revealed to me. And so yeah, like I know it's a God for sure. It's my Abba for sure. Because yeah, and that's a foundational truth. But from there, what else is true, or what have we been told was evil that isn't really evil, but to somebody's opinion it is? Like, what is it that we've been told was something that wasn't? because I really went through a season of like certain things being debunked. When I was in Oklahoma, I lived there for like a few years, and I was really indoctrinated in a culture of Christianity that really focused on like the spiritual stuff, like demons, all of that stuff, right? Devil, casting all that stuff out, like all of that. Like I was indoctrinated in that to a point of fear being the forefront of it. No matter if it was something being casted out, it was still fear driven and not faith driven. And so I think sitting back and taking a look, it's like, dang, I've really been indoctrinated with fear, or I've really been pressed on to embody certain characteristics of this is witchcraft or this isn't, and checking off boxes. And I think that right there is something that really had a huge hold on me, I think now, because I'm looking back at it, I'm like, dang, like when God is starting to show me more things that are actually in alignment with the truth, right? Fully in what he created, which is everything, right? I was told, and it conflicts with the beliefs that I once had. I have a choice now on, am I going to now believe and sit in this new, or am I going to continue to sit in the old that I'm comfortable in believing? And I think that right there is something that really shook me to the core. Because I'm like, dang, like, is this really true? Is this really, like, I've been told that freaking, certain things were witchcraft, right? And it's like we do that to check off boxes of Christianity. We do that to check off boxes. Oh, am I doing this the right way? Am I doing that the right way? Like, if you do think, like, anything can be witchcraft if it's in force, manipulation, or rebellion. And I really had to sit with that and realize, like, oh, dang, certain churches are operating in witchcraft. Manipulation is one of them. They're manipulating the body, the church, the organization, into giving them money. Not for the reasons that they say it is. But that's manipulation, meaning that's witchcraft. So I think when I just like kind of sat back and was like, dang, why is it that I've been told this and shown this picture of what is and isn't a certain thing? Why is it that I've been showed that, oh, well, if this isn't that, then this isn't equal to this? Like, it's just making things complex when he made it simple for us. He made it simple for us to walk in who he called us to be. But yet we're so focused on worried about, like, so focused on the outer, the things without, and not looking within ourselves anymore. And I think the more that I focused on, and even in my book, there's certain things about pride that's like, yeah, there's pride like within, right? But you won't see that unless you actually look within. But we've been taught and trained in church and religion, just in general, to look outside of ourselves and not look within ourselves, to find the truth, to find the light, and to shine a light on the midst of the darkness within ourselves. It's hard to look in the mirror. Shoot, I knew. Because, like, I remember, like, very vividly this time where I was sitting and I was looking in the mirror when I was in college. Like, I was very, very low vibrational, right? Very whole thought, whatever you want to call it. and messing with a lot of girls and drinking and smoking and doing all the stuff that was like, in a sense, it was keeping me from seeing the light within me, right? Because really, I think that's really all that it is when we say there's certain things like sin, like when we say sin, there's just certain things that is keeping you from actually that light or Christ shining within you, right? And so for me, that was homosexuality. For me, that was uh popping pills, drinking. So like those were the things in like the low vibrational things that I was doing that was keeping me from actually being and walking into Christ or the anointing, right? And so I think now I'm sitting here and I'm just like, dang, like I was standing and looking in the mirror and I did not even know who I was. Like, no idea at all, y'all. And I think now I'm just like, dang, like I really get emotional. I did a poem in the mirror, like literally a poem looking at myself in the mirror and talking to myself. And it was so powerful. And I think I was sitting there, I was just crying after I put the record off. And I was just crying because like that just really shook me. Cause I really was at a point where I looked in the mirror and I didn't see myself. I just saw this entity that was like taking over me, it felt like. And I didn't even know who I was looking at in the mirror. I was just being controlled by the kingdom of darkness. Right? So but I say all that to say, there's just certain things that I just think back on. I'm like, dang, like when I started actually focusing on myself and not really worrying about other people, that's when things started to shift. That's when things started to change. And I just want to like bring encouragement to you that it's like, yo, whatever you're going through, just ask God to search you because he will show you yourself if you sit with him long enough. And I think one thing in the book that I can go back to is always is to actually sit in silence. To sit in silence. That was a very powerful chapter. I think the whole book is still very much a must read. And because at the end of the day, God will extract the things that are for you out. And if you get pierced in a certain area, that mug was for you. Okay. But there's just certain contracts that I made in a spiritual sense that was hindering me from experiencing heaven within. And it was keeping me bound to hell and keeping me from even seeing myself. And I think that just really shook me because when I first started like looking in the mirror at myself, it was hard. Like I felt so uncomfortable because another thing is we've been taught to actually see looking in the mirror at ourselves as vanity. And I remember I don't know, I got so many different revelation from this movie, but Divergent, man, that's my favorite movie. One of them anyway. But the Divergent movie, the first one, right? I remember she was looking in the mirror and they were telling her the belief that she was placed on her was you're not supposed to look in the mirror at yourself. But really, she wanted to. She wanted to look herself in the mirror because it's like that like the curiosity more so is like what drew her to want to look herself in the mirror. And I think that's so dope how it's like, yeah, you want to, like, but we've been taught and fashioned that is pride or that is vanity. That's what I was taught. And I think now it's not that. Like, I know it's not that. Because even the Bible that most people quote from says the kingdom of heaven is within. Yeah, it's still outside of us. Like, our body is, we can see it. But at the end of the day, how are you going to actually take a step in actually looking within if you don't actually pierce or touch outside of yourself? How does a surgeon get to the heart if he doesn't actually cut anywhere to get to that place? He has to cut outside to get within. So I just think that right there really showed me to look in the mirror more. And if anything else is just like discover like what God is trying to show you. Because I think now I'm really at a point where I'm so turned off by everything of this world. Like, I can care less about the things of this world. And I really am starting to see there's certain things I just don't care about anymore. Or there's certain instances that in the simulation of life, right, that I just don't look at the same. I don't act or give a reaction in certain ways anymore because it doesn't bother me. When you stop conforming to the patterns of this world, your life is transformed. And those very things that you were once wanting will continue to come back to you tenfold. Because when you seek the kingdom, all things will be added. And the kingdom of heaven is where? Within. So I believe the more we seek God and to find God within ourselves, because even in Psalms 82, this is stuff that the church don't talk about. But Psalms 82, God himself, it was in like he was speaking. He said, did I not tell you that ye are gods? So I think even reading that, I kid you not, I sat there for a minute, just like, ain't no way God said that I'm a God, but yet I've been told that I was nothing, basically. Oh, I cannot be anything. I'm not perfect. I'm not this. I'm not that. But it's like, no, I am. I am sent me, and I am an heir of the throne. So, because of that, I'm going to act accordingly. I am going to act accordingly, and that's on period. So, yeah, y'all. I really believe that there's just certain things that we've been taught that we just have to reverse our thinking and really come into not a thought of like a body, quote unquote, like a organization of church, but actually sitting and actually being like, yo, hinder, what does this mean for me? How does this affect me, or what does this look like to actually have a belief of myself that came from God? What does it look like for me not to be a robot anymore and not be so reliant on a pastor that I don't even know what God is showing me anymore? And I really believe that when we actually start to unlock what God is showing us and not what the pastor's telling us, that's when things start to shift. that's when things start to change and happen, is when we actually know who we are and who he created us to be individually, right? In order to actually bring unity to something that was once chaos. And that only happens when you look within. And it's hard sometimes to do that. It's hard to want change, because we know what comes with change is having to change and having to actually give up the comfortability. So I just would encourage you, because I'm having to do the same thing. There's certain things that I'm like, dang, this is comfortable. And I have to admit it. This is very comfortable. And it's hindering me from experiencing great, like my next greatness or success that's in front of me. And it's hard to give that stuff up, but it's necessary. And I'm working through it. Like, I'm having to literally work through this with him. But it's so much joy on the other side of that. And all the fruit, honestly. So, yeah, I really am excited, though, about what comes next or how that looks. But I just kind of wanted to flow today. And, yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll put a link, or however you do that, in my bio or under this description, because I will have a free gift for you, right, waiting there. And what that gift is something I use all the time when I sleep, when I be eating stuff that I shouldn't be eating, everything, y'all. And so it's called a Whoop. Yeah, we about to whoop it up. And so what Whoop is it tracks your like sleep. I'll be looking at it every morning. Like, when I wake up, I'll be so excited to look at it, to see my REM sleep, my light sleep, my deep sleep, everything. Okay, to see, like, okay, I knew I was dreaming pretty heavy at this time, or I see I had efficiency here, and it goes for me in golf too. Like, if I go to the golf course, I use it for my students. If they have it, it's pretty dope. Actually, the only student that I use it on right now is me, because I'm a student always. Period. So yeah, if you want a gift, I got it. It's a free month for you. And yeah, be blessed. Have a great day. Love you so much. And can't wait to talk to you again soon, maybe. Love you. Bye.